this is a question I may have a different answer for from than you, but the question is, what was it like being a young man who grew up without his father? How do you think that impacted or didn't impact you?
To be honest, it
It didn't do much.
it didn't change anything because you can't really be affected by something you don't know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't know him, so I just grew up like he was never there.
Yeah.
So my experiences, of course, have been different.
Yeah.
But if he was there, yeah, probably could have been a different kind of guy. But I embrace who I am because I know,
Yeah.
I'm happy with who I am actually.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, that's a very interesting question actually.
Well, the follow-up question to that, and I'm asking this just because it's definitely on my radar.
Yeah.
I grew up for the most part in this cultural context, and a huge part that I observe in this culture is young men who are growing up without good models of what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of disconnect, it seems. A lot of disconnect between sons and fathers, for one, just because dads struggle for the most part in saying, how do I still remain relevant to my kid's life? How do I actually make that bonding emotional connection, which many men struggle with in the very first place?
True, yeah.
How do they help them to figure out relationships and integrity and ethics and all those kind of things, by incorporating all that? Because it's such a busy, we got dual income homes, we got maximum stress levels, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of accessibility, it seems. And so you've got a lot of young men who are trying to figure it out for themselves, and yet there's just still, so I guess that's where that question comes from. And so the follow-up question would be, where did you learn what it means to be a man in your perspective?
In my perspective?
Yeah, from your personal experience.
I'd say tough times really do kind of shape you to
They draw you out.
to be who you are, right?
Yeah.
You can never change to be a different kind of person without that. And for me, I had to take it account into the job that I do.
Yeah.
That was a choice by me because I was like, there's certain qualities I need to experience from this kind of job.
Yeah.
To further my experience as a man.
Yeah.
Even grow up with or without a father.
Sure.
So, example is we do a lot of tough work.
Yeah.
And it just puts you in a mindset where you just gotta be like, I just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been always growing up. And in high school, I'd say I wish there are things I knew before I actually entered high school because I was a tiny little guy.
Yeah.
I'm skinny, of course.
Yeah.
But I was way tinier when I went to high school.
Yeah.
And it was a boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of bullying there. So me being very small, I was a target, an easy target.
Of course, yeah.
So I received a whole lot of bullying and all that.
Yeah.
And I would cry to a point where I was tired.
Yeah.
And it shaped me to be in a different mindset where I was fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually unlocked so many things I didn't know about myself. And with that, the curiosity just kept growing,
Yeah.
And then I would see this kind of jobs and, after high school, I would see these kind of jobs and I'm I see what they're doing and I'm this looks tough, but I think that's what it kind of means to be a man,
Mm-hmm.
And then I took that challenge. I'm I want to try this. I want to see how it is.
Yeah.
How is it gonna make me tough or not?
Right.
And then tried it. I actually liked it. I'm oh damn, pretty nice.
Mm.
And I make a balance between that and empathy.
Okay.
Because I think you have to have two.
Yeah.
Both. You have to be tough.
Yeah.
And you have to have logic at certain points, but you have to have empathy.
Right.
To really, understand.
How old were you when you figured that connection there?
Around 18, 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago now.
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
Huh.
And then me, up till now, is still me just still growing that mentality. Because every day is still a learning process.
You're 24 now.
I'm 25.
25.
Yeah. So,
I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. That's really impressive.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm usually like the quiet guy in the room listening to everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and books.
Yeah.
I read a whole lot of books. So
Yeah.
I would study like 40. What do you call it? The 46 laws of attraction.
48 laws.
48 laws.
Yeah.
Not 46.
Yeah.
48 laws of attraction.
John Green, is that right? I think
The
it's
Art of Not Giving a F.
Yeah.
All those books. Just
Yeah.
reading that, and you know,
Yeah.
just kind of.
They impact your thought process.
Yeah. So it really does help with that.
Like you, I find books really compelling that way. Ideas. For me, it's ideas. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, books are my source for ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know the authors very